Hello, Emily here from the new podcast coming soon, Just Ask Em. Just deciding to do my little intro of myself. Sometimes we kind of just overthink and wait till everything is perfect to get started, but I'm kind of just big on getting started, so that's what I'm doing. And kind of just exciting to see the buildup of when I just grow and do better with the podcast and get better technology and all that fun stuff. But so pretty much I always had like an idea that it would be interesting to do a podcast, especially like I figured I'm entertaining when I'm in the car and like I could have a conversation with myself, respond and make myself laugh. So I said, sure, why not? And then I had recently got invited to 96.5 WUFO by DJ King Shad. And while we were recording, he just sat there and asked me, very basic, did you ever think about doing like a podcast? And it was funny because I was like, I have thought about it, but a lot of the time we have so many ideas and then we just kind of never really take action on them. So I don't know what it was in that moment that I kind of see myself on a radio station, and I'm like, well, if I can get invited to do this and accomplish it, and it seemed like it flowed pretty easily, why couldn't I do my own podcast? So he's definitely going to be my first invited guest. A special thank you for just such a simple question, like triggering the motivation and encouragement not to be fearful and just take the step of doing it. Because at the end of the day, like, what is there to lose? You'll never know until you try. So anybody who knows me or may not know me, I am genuinely a Jane of every trade you can think of, almost every trade. I am not licensed, I am not certified. Any advice or knowledge that I have of things is based on experiences, things I have learned over time through doing different types of customer service and just life, relationships, friendships, business connections. For me, I'm big on it kind of doesn't matter like, what you do, what degrees you have or how old you are, you're constantly learning. Everything is always evolving. So I feel like that's a perfect opportunity to stay up to date, learn new things, expose yourself, to different things and kind of just continuously learn and educate yourself. I'm certainly not educated on everything, and as I do my podcast, if you do become a listener and there's ever any suggestions or things that you think I could do better or differently, or simply topics that you might want to come on my podcast and speak to me about. Politics is definitely my biggest weakness. I don't care for it. I am not educated on it nearly as much as I should. But, and I do also understand as an adult and just living in the world we live in, you do have to stay up to date, with certain things, whether we like it or not. But just being knowledgeable and just educated, because you can't really have a strong opinion without being properly educated on something. So what I look forward to doing with this podcast is just, another area to express my creativity, just talk about the things maybe we don't talk nearly enough about. I'm a very natural, authentic person. I can be a perfectionist, but I have focused on remaining, my true self, my authentic self, no matter what. Like I said, if anybody knows me or currently follows me now, I have a lot of, new and exciting things that I've been working really, really hard on. By day, I am a personal assistant to a therapist. I help him with scheduling, phone calls, kind of just the daily office practices, as well as I have a home care client who's very near and dear to my heart. Kind of threatened me that I couldn't stop working for him because he didn't have anybody else. But I love him to death. I love home care. I love, client services, taking care of, people. I love giving people peace of mind. So back in May of 2023, I started one of my businesses from the ground up, which is M's Escapes and Events. Hopefully you've heard of it, because I've worked really hard to get myself out there. That is a small event planning business that I have created to provide customized, mobile hosting services, event concierge services, anything like day of coordination, accommodations, printing and design, and much more. That is most certainly my passion. It stemmed from just so many different customer services I've done in the past and kind of just weeding out what was my niche and what wasn't. So that is definitely my baby. I've built it from nothing, just out of thin air, and I keep working really hard to keep having it be built. My other side to that business is design and organization. M's One Stop Shop. That was the best name I can think of, because my goal is to genuinely be, and I think I am, a one-stop shop. One of my clients is the space that I am sitting in. I had the honor of kind of just adding finishing touches. I hung these up, as straight as I could. And just adding accents to the office just to kind of bring it to life a little more. So that's very exciting. It's rewarding. And now I am pretty much reorganizing and helping his daily practices just so he can keep track of just everything, and building a successful therapy office. What else about me? My podcast is my newest thing. I'm looking forward to building that up, and I love new things, and this is the newest chapter, so I'm hoping it's successful. But yeah, pretty much I'm going to aim to have a different topic each episode. I think my goal is to do every other week, as well as every other episode I want to have an invited guest. I do have quite a few people that I have in mind to get started with, but as you watch my podcast, if it's something you're interested in, and you feel like you can benefit me or benefit from being on my podcast, I'm open to you contacting me, reaching out, and we can always set something up. Every other episode will have an invited guest of different areas, like if you're a DJ, if you're a restaurant owner, if you're doing anything like jewelry or food or drinks, wine, that sort of thing, just to add that creativity and have something interesting to listen to on the podcast. So yeah, that's my goal. I think it's also going to be an opportunity to expose smaller local businesses and support. I know it's been really big in the air of supporting not only locally owned, but as well as multicultural owned businesses, and I think it's great. That's kind of what I based my small event planning business off of, where I don't have a venue. I like working smarter, not harder. I like to plan and make the vision come to life by focusing on the details that the client wants to envision as a finished product. But what that also allows me to do is, as far as whether it's food, entertainment, mobile bars, that sort of thing, I outsource that. And it's kind of just also an opportunity to support those smaller local businesses and kind of just give everybody a chance. It helps me out because I'm not cooking, I'm not serving the drinks, that sort of thing. So I'm kind of excited to transfer that same mindset to the podcast, and that just kind of stemmed from me getting invited to 96.5 WUFO, and kind of just seeing how there are opportunities for free marketing and getting yourself out there. But I think those things happen best when we kind of just learn to work together. It's not a competition, and kind of just bringing people with you, or if you go forward and figure out something that works, let somebody else know. So if it helps them or saves them from running up that same wall twice or getting it wrong 2-3 times, I think that's the power in teamwork and working together. So that's just kind of my goal for this podcast. Working together, talking about experiences or things that I have found worked for me in the past, sharing, experiences or just milestones in life that, they might be beneficial to you, or help you not be fearful to go for that next dream or that next thing that you think you want to do, but you're too fearful because you might not know the outcome, or obviously the unknown is scary, which is natural and it's fine, but it shouldn't be so scary that it prevents you from taking that next big step that might take you to many other new chapters in life. And I think right now it's just a season that we should stop living fearful. You know, if you want to go after something, go for it. Don't talk yourself out of it. You know, if it seems scary, or, well, I don't have enough money, or I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this or this. The only first thing you can do is start. You know, starting is the hardest part. But then next thing you know, once you've started and you kind of put things into perspective, if it's a big project and you break it up into little pieces, then it doesn't seem as intimidating or impossible. So just those sorts of things, you know, just really enforcing motivation, positivity, working together, you know, just being kind and supportive to our neighbors, to the people locally who are, you know, working. If you have a successful business and you've been successful for years, like, it's great for you, but not everybody has that opportunity or is at that stage. So I think the most important thing is that the higher you go up, or the more, you know, successful you do become, you shouldn't forget about those people who are starting out, who might benefit from you sharing your knowledge or experience, because that was you at one point, you know. So not, you know, withholding information that could be beneficial for others, and just slowing down enough in life and appreciating whatever your progress may currently be, and what you have accomplished, because any amount of progress is an accomplishment in itself. And really just like slowing down, appreciating that, and then reevaluating, okay, how can I be better for myself, for my business, and others? And I think just, you know, doing for others brings blessings back around automatically, and also helps you feel better and just creates a happier environment. And you know, it's kind of just exuded when you're around people, or when you're having conversation, or they see that you're, you know, happy in spirit, or you're able to smile. Like, energy is really, really big. Like, it's definitely a thing. So I think it's just important to, you know, worry about self-care, focus on taking care of that energy, who you surround yourself by, what you surround yourself by, and just having confidence in yourself, believe in yourself. You know, so that's kind of just a brief gist of what I'm hoping my podcast will be. And I am looking forward to having a bunch of great, interesting, and creative invited guests as I build my podcast. And if you are listening, I genuinely appreciate it, and hope to look forward that you continue to listen to my podcast. I'm available on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So I will be sure that those links and information are on my page on Instagram, which is just askm_podcast, I believe. So thank you.